If you're single, is having a fantasy about someone else, even if they're an ex, really that big of a deal that you have to go around to everyone telling them about these fantasies you're having about your ex? What is up, fellow Beyond the Gates viewers? Here to talk about today's Wednesday episode of the show, which today's episode at least has some Jessica and Tyrell, this younger couple that I am invested in. I still wish they had more consistency, but I guess I'll take what I can get, although this show gave us months of Naomi, Jacob, Ashley, Grayson, Vanessa, Nicole, a lot of boring characters, so they could give us more younger set that I think they need to actually invest in, and I hope they do. But let's talk about today's episode. I'm just going to go in order of my notes. We started the episode with Anita and Vernon returning from getting frisky in the hotel when they went there after everyone kept walking in on them trying to get frisky. Nicole ended up walking in on them this time when they were kissing, telling them that she hates that Ted tossed her name into the running for chief of staff, said that he knew better than to do that, and they told her that they knew that she wouldn't want anything to do with that. Honestly, another conversation that makes Ted look like a stupid fool. Ted is such a fool on this show. This was another thing that he did that was foolish, apparently. If he knew that Nicole wouldn't want to be chief of staff, why throw her name out there to the board? They talk about Monica being the potential chief of staff, Monica being Shanice's aunt, who we did see in this episode. Then Anita and Nicole had a talk by themselves, and Anita mentioned the eyes that Nicole and Ted were making at each other at the cotillion, and they also end up discussing Nicole's fantasies. I asked this today during the watch along. I'll ask again here for anyone that wants to comment. If you're single, is having a fantasy about someone else, even if they're an ex, really that big of a deal that you have to go around to everyone telling them about these fantasies you're having about your ex? It seems like making a mountain out of a molehill. Nicole talked about how she almost went to tell Ted about these fantasies, but Shanice walked in, which was good timing, because Nicole would have humiliated herself with Ted, who still has not made himself look like he is a catch again with Nicole, because he still is wrapped around Leslie's finger, which is what I don't get from this. But I guess the storyline that they're going for is that Nicole seems still attracted to Ted, misses him on a physical level maybe, but doesn't necessarily want to get back with him in a relationship because he hasn't really grown since their divorce. Nicole at the end did tell Anita that she is satisfied with two worthy men and doesn't really want Ted back. Anita was wondering who Nicole would give the rose to, Kyle or Carlton. I mean, she's thrown Carlton under the bus so much that it better be Kyle, because if not, poor Carlton. He's going to be stuck in a relationship with Nicole while she fucks him and thinks about Ted. Anyway, Shanice wanted to know if Monica was going to take the chief of staff job, and Monica was considering the offer. Naomi appeared. I don't know why Naomi has to be on so much to Boris, but she did appear and talk to Monica about how she should take the chief of staff job. Shanice and Monica then talked about Shanice losing her friend Derek, and then Vernon came to talk to Monica and try to talk her into taking the chief of staff job, and she thinks it could be a good fit for her. So it seems like Monica will be the new chief of staff. Meanwhile, Eva came at the beginning of the episode. Eva was with Ted. They kind of had a conversation about Derek. There's been a lot of grieving for Derek on this show, certainly more than they ever grieved for poor Doug. But I did like that Eva and Shanice then had a conversation about Derek. Shanice even talking about dating Derek a couple of times. I don't know. I do feel that it's weird that there is way more talk about Derek now that he's dead than when he was actually alive. I think it just goes to show how little effort these writers put into actually making the Derek character work. I don't think they ever had an intention of making the Derek character work, but they should have just went with Derek and Shanice when they tested them the first time, because now we're stuck with them changing Shanice's character, making her insecure over these past couple of months, a complete change of character from just 2.5 months ago, when she was always smart and always sticking up for herself. People in the watch along chat today made good points that Shanice told Derek she didn't want to be the other woman when it came to him and Ashley, but now Shanice is going to do that with Ted, not following her own advice. I don't know. I don't like the change of character for Shanice. And then Shanice was warming up to Ted again at the end. Anyway, Jessica and Tyrell started this episode playing chess. Smitty was there trying to work. Martin was on the phone. Samantha came down with Chelsea and Kat, who were taking pictures for her cotillion award. I actually really enjoyed this opening scene with the family, because they kept panning out to other people. Meanwhile, Tyrell and Jessica were still bickering in the back, and I had earphones on so I could hear their bickering still pretty clear. I don't know how that translated to watching on TV, but with headphones, Jessica and Tyrell were bickering the whole time, and I was quite entertained. And then Smitty went off, telling everyone he wants them out because he can't hear himself think. Martin seeing that it was driving Smitty crazy, so he kind of helped shoo people out of the house. Smitty didn't want Tyrell and Jessica to go upstairs to the bedroom, because then he felt like he was going to have to parent. So I believe they snuck away to Jessica's parents' beach house again. That's what Aaliyah said in the chat today. That's where they were. Tyrell never thought that they would be like this. Him teaching her chess, that they would get together this well. She says that they learned each other over time. They end up kissing, messing up the chessboard. I'm invested in this couple. I am. I like this younger set, and I want the show to invest in them, because a strong soap opera has strong younger characters, and I really do believe that. It's always been that way since the 80s. If you were a soap opera with strong younger set in the 80s, 90s, 2000s, you were thriving. Jesse, Angie, and the like were young when they first started on All My Children. Days of Our Lives had the Last Blast crew in the 2000s. Young and the Restless had a strong teen scene in the 2000s. I feel like General Hospital has always had strong younger characters, but especially in the 90s with Stone, back when they had that character and that storyline. Jason was young at the time too. So I want the show to have a strong younger set, and I think building it around Tyrell and Jessica works because they have chemistry. They're a cute little couple. They do need some drama. Will that drama be a pregnancy? I don't know if I necessarily love that, but they ended up having sex again, and it seems like Tyrell is trying to get her to stay and not go to UCLA by wooing her to do that. I find it cute. I like him. Naomi ended up stopping by to see pissy Smitty. He's pissy because he's trying to meet the deadlines for his articles about the Impaler stuff and the plasma ring. They end up discussing how Smitty was helping Jacob when he was undercover. She's trying not to be mad about it, but she is conflicted with the whole thing. She wishes that Jacob never put on the damn hoodie. And honestly, Smitty should have never put on that hoodie either and went to that alley, because he did not fit in that alley. But she is saying that she wishes none of this ever happened because what was lost can't be recovered. Once again, talking about Derek. But Naomi seems forgiving of Smitty. Chelsea, Kat, and Samantha went to Orphe Jeans. They ended up talking about the cotillion and Donnell, and how Samantha didn't think Donnell was going to make it to the cotillion on time, but then he saved her from Chelsea tripping her. They also discussed Samantha and Donnell and if it should be more than a thing. It didn't seem like Chelsea and Kat were super into that possibility. But then they surprised Samantha with a new Chelsea Kat bag that she's going to get to name. I mean, these scenes were pretty cute. I am not team Samantha and Donnell like I am Tyrell and Jessica, because I think that Samantha can do better than weak, no backbone Donnell. I think I already talked about it, but I'll talk about it a little more. Eva did start the episode with Ted. They talked about how Eva's working really hard because now she's working for both Ted and Leslie at the free clinic and back in Ted's office. Ted doesn't want Eva letting Leslie take all of her hours so that she can't do good work for Ted and Carlton's work. Then they started talking about missing Derek. Eva teared up because she can cry on cue, unlike the people that were grieving Derek last week. So Eva's good for an emotional scene for sure. Ted talked about how this grief or this kind of grief is new to her, and he knows all about grief because of his brother dying. And Ted said he found solace when his brother died in Bill. He actually was able to find solace in Bill because I guess Bill was like a brother to him. They were brothers-in-laws, and they used to meet for beers and shared stories. I mean, good to hear that Bill actually used to be a friend to someone. Honestly, a lot of people on the show need friends. That would be nice to see, because a lot of them don't have friends. So Ted talking about Bill being a good friend back in the day is a surprise, because we don't see Bill really have friends, unless you count Caroline. And then Ted and Martin met up. He was asking about Nicole. He wanted to know what Nicole really wanted to talk about the other day. Little does Ted know that she wants to tell him about her fantasies of him. I don't know if Nicole will ever get around to telling him that. I kind of hope not. I'm still not on Nicole and Ted getting back together. It's too soon, and until they write a storyline for that or show that Ted has a brain and isn't wrapped around Leslie's finger, it's hard for me to sit here and be like, yeah, Nicole and Ted should get back together. But that was today's episode. It flowed better than the last two for me, but it wasn't necessarily riveting. But I really do like Jessica and Tyrell. Wish they got more screen time than once a week at most. But we'll see if this summer if they could really spice up the teen scene and give them more time.